A year ago, this body voted to put $200 million into COVID-19 response. We knew that our public health districts and our nursing and long-term care facilities needed help to keep us safe from an emerging pandemic. But what we didn't know was how long this pandemic would last or how many lives it would overturn. Now we know. We know that 500,000 renters are in danger of being left out in the cold, that our under-resourced public health districts are fighting to protect our loved ones, and that our neighbors without health insurance are being left behind. This Washington recovery budget puts people first by standing up for communities hardest hit by the pandemic, including our rural communities, our communities of color, and immigrant communities. Our budget boosts funding for public health districts so they can keep us healthy, and it invests more than $1 billion in vaccines, tracing, and testing to beat this pandemic. It boosts rural health centers and free clinics because everyone should have the right to health care in a pandemic. And it pays off over $1 billion in back due rent. So those whose lives have been turned upside down this past year have the opportunity for a warm bed and roof over their heads, and so that our small landlords can stay afloat. Ariana is my neighbor. She's a renter who told us about going from having a job and $2,000 in savings to being $12,000 in debt. Her family cut their medications to make ends meet every month. Ariana is just one of the 500,000 people in Washington who need our help to stay in their home, not sleep in their family car or in a shelter. Mr. Speaker, please vote yes for the Washington recovery budget because it means safe, warm homes for families, vaccination shots and arms to put this pandemic behind us, and care for people who need their state in this moment. Vote yes, because this budget says that if we are going to recover, we have to recover together and not leave anyone behind. We must trust our neighbors and give them the resources to meet their needs. People like my neighbor, Ariana. Because when we do, people across Washington invest in supporting their families, in their neighborhood businesses, and in improving their communities. When we invest in our neighbors, we are investing in ourselves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.